From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening here on Evenings LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In this recording, we go over how much you're going to get under this fourth stimulus check, the breaking details, and the huge news out from the Labor Department. Then the second half of this recording, we go over fifth stimulus that'll raise your benefits up a lifetime, and why the benchmark will change your benefits an incredible amount. Then in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money, thousands of dollars you can get right now, across the land and across the sea. It's a big night. It's a big evening. I have all the incredible details, all the incredible great news, and it starts right now. Good evening, everybody. It's Evenings LA. Hope you're having a beautiful evening. You are almost to the weekend. It got sunny here in LA. It was not sunny throughout much of the day, and finally some sun broke through. Hope the weather is good where you are. Drop in the comments right now where you're tuning in from, whether it's United States or overseas, and tell me how the weather is. This is LA. In this recording, we go over the fourth stimulus check, the breaking news out of the Labor Department today, the breaking news from the parliamentarian, and all the details you need to know about this fourth stimulus check, the single biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of this channel. All the news today was good news. Then the second half of this video, we're going to go over fifth stimulus that'll raise your benefits up a lifetime. And in the middle of this recording, we go over the big money you're going to get across the board, from rent to utilities and more. This is LALATE, the only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel. Live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Right before this, we were taped with afternoons. And next up is Evenings Crypto, followed by Overnights Crypto. A lot of fun, a lot of views, and a lot of chatting. So jump in there. We have double chat rooms going on tonight as well. Double chat rooms at 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 11:30, where you can be in two rooms chatting at the same time. If you've never experienced that, you can experience it tonight. So subscribe. This is LA, 24 hours a day with 400,000 subscribers. A YouTube record in 1 year. Like this video. Subscribe. Next stop, 1 million subscribers. Like this video and consider becoming a member. Let's get right into that fourth stimulus check with those monthly stimulus checks from Jalapal. Jalapal's House proposal provides a stimulus check on a monthly basis for the remainder of the pandemic. Let's go through how that works and compare it to the Senate plan. A little bit different and a little bit different amounts of money. Here we go. The House bill provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate plan provides a stimulus check from now to December. Interesting. Now let's look at the monthly amount. There you go, $2,000 a month for the first month, $1,000 a month thereafter from Jalapal's House bill. The Senate amount unknown, but word on the street, the Senate amount is this. Oh yes, $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. That is per person. That is wonderful. But there's a twist for Jalapal's bill, which is the macroeconomic factors at issue may suggest there may be less checks. Why? Legislators contend that maybe the pandemic may be over by the time Jalapal's bill goes to a vote, which would result in 12 months of stimulus checks. 12 checks is $13,000. $13,000 under Jalapal's bill. Compare that to the Senate plan, half the amount of time, and this, oh yes. If you're in the live chat just after 5 o'clock, get ready to vote right now. Senate versus House, Senate versus House. And if you're watching later in the day, Senate versus House, and tell me where you're watching from. All right, let's go over the other details. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? You do. $75,000 or less, a single individual, you get the fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000, you get the fourth stimulus check. Double it. And a household 4 or less, you get the fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. If you're on benefits, you get the fourth stimulus check. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, you get it. Is the stimulus check income? It is not. The fourth stimulus check is not taken out for taxes because it's not income. The fourth stimulus check does not have a different amount for different people. It's the same stimulus check for everyone. Independents, young children, adult dependents, minor dependents, everyone gets the same amount. The fourth stimulus check is not going to come out in waves. They can't do that because a monthly stimulus check comes out on a monthly basis. And we don't know if the fourth stimulus check is taken out for taxes or not, taken out for child support or not yet. That's still pending. The fourth stimulus check would go to a vote in July. They represent the legislators. Remember, they're the legislators. They make the representations, not me. They represent the vote would be in the month of July. That means that you would get the first check of the fourth stimulus package in the month of July for the month of July. Then in the month of August for the month of August. And there you go. That's your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today to start. But I got more details on this coming up in a second. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. In the second half of this video, we go over fifth stimulus. And fifth stimulus will raise your benefits up a lifetime and also apply a new benchmark. That benchmark will be inflation, not COLA and not CPIE. And why will that number be so wonderful? Because it'll be the highest of a generation and it will raise your benefits lifetime. I have all the breaking details and the calculations for you coming up in the second half of this video. But first, let's turn to some big money that you can get right now. And viewers are just killing it. You are killing it. You are getting this money every few moments of the day. If you're one of those viewers, drop in the live chat or in the comments right now what you got, because it inspires everyone else, inspires me. Viewers are sending messages around the clock. The first pot of money is $350 billion of money for you. Well, it's not all 350 for you. It's to share, 349 for you and just $1 billion for me. But no, it's a share. So it's landing from your city counties. It's landing at your city counties and states. And so go get it. We're going to go over all the details right now. Get a pen and paper ready. And we're going to go over where to get that money. First thing you need to know is that there are different locations. Every location has different eligibility. So if one says no, reach out to the next. They have their own pot of money. And the items that are landing are rent. It's wonderful, about $5,000 of rent, 4 to 6 months of rent. Money for utilities, money for mortgage assistance, and money for homeowners' utilities. All right, got that pen and paper ready? Let's go. City housing authority is where you can reach out. Then county housing authority. State housing authority. Keywords you're going to use is rent assistance because of COVID. You're going to say rent assistance because of COVID or mortgage assistance because of COVID. You're not going to say stimulus. And you're not going to say smorgasbord. Smorgasbord? Sir, that's Crate and Barrel down the street. That's not us. Smorgasbord. No, they won't know what stimulus means and they won't know what smorgasbord is, unless it's, unless a Swedish chef on that show. So, they won't know what you're talking about. So you have to say the correct words. Now, one viewer got that money, and that viewer was Tim, and another one is Linda. So congratulations to Tim and Linda. They got that money, about $5,000 for rent. Let's get to the next pot of money, and it is money for SNAP. Lynn Glenn got this for herself, for her son, for her mom. Gail got it as well. Congratulations. Let's go over this money, how you get it, how much it is, and where it lands. This money is for food. SNAP is money for food. How do you get it? Reach out to Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? Upwards of $16,000 for a family of 4 in Hawaii. Wow. Why so much? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders, one from Trump and one from Biden, that raise everyone's benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. There we're going. We are doing it really fast. With 8 minutes of this video, we got to $16,000 for SNAP, about $5,000 for rent, but we are just getting started. And the next pot of money is $5,000. $5,000 coming from the federal government via your states. And what's going on? Let's go over the details, how much and when you're going to get it. First, what is this? The federal government has identified states as overpaying unemployment benefits due to computer error and then asking you to return the money, and you have. Well, the federal government said, nope, that was your money to keep. The federal government has now ordered the states to return that money back to you. Wow, that's incredible. One viewer got $5,000 for this. How do you get the money? The money's coming automatically to the bank account you have on file. When are you getting the money? The money will come from different routing times, so reach out to your respective state for those details. Next, you're wondering probably what I'm wondering about. Has anyone gotten this money? Yes. Overnight, this morning, in our overnight crypto show, one viewer, COD, COD, C-O-D, jumped in the live chat and said he got his money this morning. Got it by direct deposit. Another viewer got it 2 days before. Another viewer got it last week for 2000. What is this? This is money back from the federal government. The amount that you pay taxes on your unemployment benefits. Congratulations. Let's go over how you get this, when you get it, how you get it, and how you track it. First, what is this? This is the money you paid on taxes for your 2020 tax return to IRS for your unemployment benefits. How much is it? Here's an example. Let's say you filed a 2020 tax return and your total unemployment benefits was $9,000. Your total tax bill was $5,000, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back a check of $4,000. Next, how are you getting the check? Well, in the case of COD, like everyone else, if you have direct deposit on that tax return, you're getting it by direct deposit. Everyone else in the mail by a paper check. Watch that mail because it's a laser thin paper check. You don't want to throw it away. Then the big question is, of course, when? The checks will be landing in the month of June. They were sent out in the month of May. Finally, can you track it? Yeah, you can. So now go to irs.gov, sign in as a username and password, create an account, put your social security number in, and track it. It works about 70% of the time. The tool you'll use on the website is called a transcript search. You'll do a transcript of your name. It'll reveal your 2020 tax return, the taxes you paid on that 2020 tax return, and it'll also reveal when that check is coming back from IRS. So there you go. Does it get better than that? It does. It gets better than that with the incredible second part of our fourth stimulus check updated 2021 today. In this second part, I'm going to go over what happened last Friday in the breaking news and what started this entire ball to roll up to the present. Well, a week ago tomorrow, Leader Schumer announced not one, but three of the details which I have been reporting for several days, confirming my reporting. Number one, the reconciliation process for fourth stimulus is underway. Number two, the reconciliation process will end by July 4th. Number three, the reconciliation process will not be held up by any negotiations by the president. Now, as an aside, yesterday, Wednesday, the president did have another negotiation, and we learned from that it did not result in a deal. So there you go. Now, how did we get there? Well, it started over a week earlier when Jalapal started the ball rolling. Jalapal, of course, wrote that House bill providing those monthly stimulus checks. So what did Jalapal do? Jalapal wrote Leader Schumer a letter saying, call the vote. Call the vote on the recon. And now he's calling the vote on the recon. More in a second, I'll explain what calling the vote is. But Jalapal wrote the Schumer and said, hey, call the vote on the recon. And when Jalapal wrote that letter, over a dozen House members co-signed it, saying, I agree. And guess when they last co-signed something for Jalapal? They wrote a letter to the president weeks earlier saying they're going to put the fourth stimulus check, multiple monthly stimulus checks, into the fourth stimulus package. Oh, boy. And now they're writing Schumer a letter? Yeah, they are. It gets better than that. And it got better last Thursday when 7 House members wrote the President of the United States a letter saying, when you go to do the fourth stimulus, we are going to put those multiple stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package and work with you to get them in there. What does work with you mean? It means a euphemism that basically the president doesn't write legislation, they do. So what they are saying is that they're going to put that legislation in there themselves. But who are these 7 people to say such a thing? Well, these 7 people are on the House subcommittee that is solely and exclusively responsible for writing stimulus checks. Yes, they wrote the first stimulus check, the second stimulus check, the third stimulus check. And now a week ago, they told the president, we're going to write those monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Incredible. I don't think you can get any better good news than that. Well, maybe we can. It started this last Tuesday, when the president of the United States did something fascinating, a little bit complicated, but fascinating. I'm going to slow this one down. The president is trying to pay for fourth stimulus by raising the U.S. corporate tax rate. So what did he do last Tuesday? He reached out to global leaders and said, would you agree to a higher global minimum corporate tax rate? They said yes, tentatively. So the president then late in the day reached out to his insiders and apparently said that once fourth stimulus is signed into law, he's going to try to get those G7 countries to sign on the dotted line about raising the global minimum corporate tax rate. And if they do, then he is going to come back and raise the corporate tax rate lower, bring the corporate tax rate lower, back closer to where it is right now. Oh my goodness, lower the corporate tax rate and also send out stimulus checks? Doesn't get better than that. It does. Late last week, the Republicans introduced a counterproposal. The president rejected it. Then the day after that, 3 or so Senate Democrats, not Schumer, said to Chuck, call the vote. And he's calling the vote. So there you are. We are calling the vote. Later in this video, I'm going to go over the second half of the third part of the fourth stimulus check update of 2021 in this broadcast. And I go over the wonderful news that came out of the Labor Department today. It's all good news for fourth stimulus. We're also going to go over the parliamentarian. It's also good news for fourth stimulus. And we're going to go over fifth stimulus, which is insanely good news. But first, I got better news for you. It is the volunteers. The volunteers are on the community page to help you here get rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. So I want you to reach out to them. Who are they? The volunteers follow a commitment to this channel since day one to help people get money. This is a channel not reading news. This is a channel making people change their lives. I started this channel getting people EIDL loans, hand-holding them, walking through the application process one at a time, viewer after viewer, till I got viewers $25 million in a few months. I was doing $5 to $6 million in approvals of EIDLs in just a few days. That's how quickly we were ramping it up. But in fall of 2020, a lot of us thought that second stimulus was never going to happen. So I turned to the subject you saw in this video, purple, and started giving people money for rent and utilities and more. And that is what bred the spirit of the volunteers. They're viewers just like you who have stepped forward to help others, because that's the spirit of this channel. And they're helping you get rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. If you can't find it yourselves. So reach out to the volunteers. Where are they? Open the description to this video. In the description of this video, you'll see an emoji of a house. That emoji of a house has a word next to a community page, or 2 words. Then click the link, it sends you over to the community page. On the community page is a picture of some cute kitty cats. They aren't your volunteers. They're just kitty cats. Below the kitty cats are the volunteers. Reach out to the volunteers and say meow. They can help you get that rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. Here's a little bit about the volunteers. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with more exciting details about what is in fourth stimulus, fifth stimulus, and additional breaking news. Stay with me and stay with LALATE. See you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LALATE with more exciting details about your fourth stimulus check and your fifth stimulus package. Boy, it is a big night with a lot of exciting new details. Coming up in the second half of this video, we'll be going over what happened with the Labor Department, what happened with the parliamentarian, and what's happening with fourth stimulus. It's all good news. And then we'll be turning to fifth stimulus. And this is LALATE, your only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Also, like this video. Earlier today, there are some videos that had 10,000 views in just about half an hour and 300 likes. That's not acceptable. So hit that like button. Every video, if you're on a video and you're watching it, hit that like button all the time. It really helps in the algorithm rankings. And when you watch but don't like, then the video may not rank, even though it was a blockbuster video. Yeah, that's how strange the algorithm ranking is. So make sure you like the video. Also, consider becoming a member. More about membership link coming up later in this video. So fifth stimulus heats up this fall, and it goes by reconciliation. It raises up your benefits. Let me go over the incredible breaking news about this and understand how this analysis works. First, they'll increase your benefit limits, then remove the asset limits, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Let's go over Thursday, Amazon. That's the wrong icon. There we go. And remove the income exclusion, remove the marriage penalty. What does this mean? Let's go over the analysis and why this is incredible. First, they're going to raise your benefits up. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, or SSA, or multiple benefits, they're going to raise your benefits up. Then they're going to apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. It's not COLA and it's not CPIE. Why is this benchmark wonderful? Because it'll be the highest inflation rate of a generation this December, most analysts believe. And when they apply the benchmark, it'll raise your benefits a lifetime. Let's go over how this works. First, they're going to raise your benefits up in December in the fifth stimulus. Then they'll apply the benchmark in around December. Let's say it's 6%. They'll raise you up 6%, but not just for next year. Lifetime. Because once they raise your benefits up one time, they never step you down. You either go up or you stay flat. So the year after that, the inflation rate is 0%, you'll still be at plus 6%. And the year after that, the inflation rate is 1%, then you'll be at plus 1, plus 6%. Wonderful news. And then they're going to remove the asset cap. The asset cap is dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. Just in time to get rid of that asset cap so you can put those stimulus checks in your hand. They're going to remove the 1960s law that says you cannot work the income cap and stay on benefits. It's going to go away. And then finally, they're going to remove the horrible marriage penalty. It's awful. So finally, love is going to win. You'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and not lose benefits. And if you are married, you will no longer suffer the marriage penalty. This is absolutely wonderful relief because they will be raising your benefits up to its highest level based upon the highest inflation rate of a generation. Just wonderful. It heats up this September out the door about October, November, and then the step up next January, of course. Now, it's important to know that there's a lot of other things in fifth stimulus besides this, and that's the value of membership. The membership link's at the top of the chat and in the pinned comment. Members get sent to them by me via the community page of YouTube daily. What is in the fifth stimulus? What is in the fourth stimulus? What is in the third stimulus? Because there's a lot of money there for you to get, and you don't want to miss that money. It could be thousands of dollars. Here's an example. The fifth stimulus has a provision in there for money for single individuals, even though the president calls the fifth stimulus the family plan. There's a lot of money in there for non-families, single individuals, single hazard pay, single seniors for medical assistance. So it's important to know what's in there. The community page of YouTube delivers that to you as a member daily. And if you have that YouTube account set up to go to your email address, you're going to get it by email. It's also important to at least subscribe because in a given day, it's important to know that there's a lot of things happening where fourth, fifth, and third stimulus all overlap at the same time. And you can look at one and think it's something other and miss the money that's yours. Now let's cut back to fourth stimulus with the final third update about this fourth stimulus check of 2021 today. There was 3 breaking news stories that formulated in the last 24 hours, and all 3 were good for you. The first one was the labor rate. The second one was another labor rate. And the third one was something about the parliamentarian. First step was the jobless claims number that comes out every Thursday morning. If you've been with me since 2020, you heard me record on day 1 talking about the new jobless numbers that come out every Thursday morning. And when we went into the pandemic, it was 200,000. When we started the pandemic, it went to 1 million. And was at 1 million for 22 weeks before it came down a little bit. Well, guess what it was this morning? 400,000, the best number since the pandemic started. The lowest last number was right pre-pandemic in March 14th, 2020 at 256,000. So that's wonderful news. Does it mean that it derails fourth stimulus? No, it actually helps fourth stimulus because it shows we are still not at pre-pandemic levels 456 versus 254. The second number that came out was the number of jobs created per month. This is a monthly number. And this number came in at 1 million. Does it help for stimulus? It helps it a lot. Why? Because there's 8 million jobs missing and we only removed 1 million of that 8 million. Now, you've heard this number talked about a lot from me back in January and February. It's no longer an issue now. Why? Because in January, February, I said I was worried that in January or February, we would add 1 million like we just added this last month of May. We didn't. But I was worried then we would add 1 million because with 8 million missing and 7 months to a July vote, I said, well, those 8 million jobs could be restored by August. Legislators may get cold feet if those 8 million jobs are restored by July. We had a slow April, we had a slow March, we had a slow February, we had a little slow January. So we weren't restoring jobs quickly. Now, we had generated 1 million jobs last month, but there's still 7 million missing. It actually helps pushing for stimulus out the door. Finally, the Senate parliamentarian, good news came in with that about that overnight, and I'm going to explain this slowly for you. I'm not going to do too much, full disclosure, I'm not going to do too much Senate parliamentarian coverage on this channel because it's much of nothing, and it's very, very confusing and very boring. So I'm not here to put you to sleep. But here's what I want you to know, is that it really has nothing to do with us. Why? Because there's enough reconciliations to pass the fourth one right now, and there's enough reconciliations to pass the fifth one right now, this fall. What goes on next year for 6 and 7 stimulus? I don't know, and we'll deal with it then. But let me just generally tell you what went on with the Senate parliamentarian yesterday and a few months ago. The Senate parliamentarian's job is to determine how reconciliations are used and how many you have. But if you were to put 100 political and legal analysts in a room, they would agree upon certain things and absolutely not agree upon other things. So what would they agree upon? They would agree that you have one recon in the spring and one recon in the fall every year as a legislator. You have a spring session, a Congress recon, and a fall recon. Very easy, one in the spring, one in the fall. They would also agree that you could save a recon from a prior session which you didn't use. Why? Because Republicans have been doing it for years. Democrats have been doing it for years. So they would agree upon those two things. They would also agree that in fall of 2020, the Democrats had a recon they didn't use and they saved it. That's pretty easy. They agree upon that. And they would agree that that fall recon that was saved from last year was used this spring for third stimulus. Everyone will agree upon that. It's after that that people just don't agree upon anything. But it really doesn't matter to us because at this point, you have one saved from last year, and then you got a new one this spring, and you have a new one this fall. That's 3 just to start, and then you use up 1 to pass third stimulus this spring. Okay, so then you have 2 left. Why are we worried? We got fourth stimulus and we got fifth stimulus. We got 2 left at least for this year. Now, I don't see this president doing a 6th stimulus in the fall. I see fifth in the fall and the 4th in the spring. So we have 2 more stimuluses this year and 2 more recons. What's the big deal? Well, let me tell you what the big deal is. This is what the big deal is, that they're talking about what Chuck Schumer tried to do in February. What Chuck Schumer tried to do in February was say, instead of having 1 left for the spring and 1 left in the fall, I want to try to recycle that extra one I just used that was saved over from last year that I just used for third stimulus this year. He wanted to recycle an extra one so that he could say he has 3 left for this year. Why? I have no idea why he would want to do that. This president's not doing that much legislation. He's not doing 5 stimulus packages a year or 20 stimulus packages. So I don't know why he would even want to do that. But that's what he did. And so he presented that to the Senate parliamentarian, and she, in a advisory, not an opinion, not a ruling, but just like a guidance, said, yeah, you could do that. Well, what did she say yesterday? In an advisory, again, not a ruling, she said, no, you can't do it. Okay. So that was the totality of the situation, that instead of having 1 recon left now in the spring and 1 recon left in the fall, instead of having 2 recons left in the spring now and 1 recon left in the fall, that he has 1 recon left in the spring and 1 recon left in the fall. Big deal. We just got 4th and 5th stimulus. I have no knowledge about a 6th stimulus package this year. So I don't know why we would even worry about this. But here's what you do need to know, is that there's a lot of politically slanted publications online, even major news outlets, that accredited certain words to the parliamentarian, which she never said, or try to say that she did something she didn't do, or try to sort of make the story larger than it is. Bottom line is, everyone that would be in that room of analysts would agree upon the first few things. And before we get to this redoing of recons, you have enough recons. So what's the big deal? There's no big deal at this point. So I'm not going to dwell too much in future videos on this reconciliation bit because it becomes an issue next year. We don't really need to be talking about next year's legislation at this point. And finally, let's go to what's important to know is calling the vote. What is calling the vote? Calling the vote is a 9-step process required by the Constitution to finish a reconciliation. So I want you to know what reconciliations voting is. Ooh, as I go out of focus, there I am. It's 9 steps and starting right now. First, the procedural votes. Procedural vote on the subcommittee in the House, then procedural vote on the House floor, procedural vote on the Senate floor, and then the President signs a procedural bill. Done. The tow truck has passed over the finish line. The procedural bill is now law. Time to go get that tow hitch. It's the substantive bill. Next, House subcommittee writes and does the substantive bill vote. That would be where those House members would put those multiple stimulus checks in the House Ways and Means Committee. They can do it or they can choose not to do it. But if they do it, that would be step 6. Then step 7, the House floor votes on the substantive bill. Step 7 and 8 is the 2-day vote-a-rama in which those Senate Democrats amend whatever is given to them by the House members. So if the House members do have stimulus checks in there, the senators can modify them. If they don't have stimulus checks in there, the senators can put them in or similar. And then finally, step 8, I miscount somewhere. Step 9, there we go. Step 9, the president signs into law. There you go. 9 steps. But there's a reason why I want to go over that, and it's Purple Power. You need to share these videos on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, the hashtag MSE and hashtag Purple Power. If you've been with this channel long enough, you have seen that legislators with actual law signed on the dotted line, they still don't send out money. When there's a bill, they still don't get it to a law. When there is an attempt to vote, they fold like lawn chairs. So you never want to cast anything by these legislators. You want to keep on pushing. You don't want to sit around and not push. And that's the spirit of this channel. Push, push, pushing, staying positive, and cashing checks, not tracking checks. And with that, join me next on Evenings Crypto. We're going to have a lot of fun with, and then Overnight's Crypto. And don't miss that double chat room fun lot tonight. 3 times tonight at 7 o'clock, at 9 o'clock, and at 11:30. You have 2 chat rooms to get into at the same time. See if you can maneuver it. It's a lot of fun. If you've never tried it, you need to try it. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, next stop, 1 million. Like this video and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful evening, and I'll see you in a little bit here on LALATE.